Hey everybody, I'm Kathy Hester and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to make a delicious Ninja Creami creation. I'm going to use fresh blueberries. You can use frozen, no problem at all. I'm going to use some green tea powder, and then today I'm going to use some of this Joy oat powder. So it's kind of like instant oat milk, and you don't have to do this. You could use oat milk. You could use the oat cream from my ebook, from the Ninja Creami Experience. You could use almond milk. You could use so many things. You could also use this amount of water and some almond butter, cashew butter, or Joy cashew or almond. I'm going to use dates to sweeten this. You could use maple syrup, agave nectar, applesauce, something like that instead if you wanted to. So let's get started. This is super easy. So I already have 2 medjool dates that I've taken the pit out of. Even if your dates are pitted, make sure that you've taken the pit out. I'm going to put about a cup of water in here. I'm going to put, this is the matcha powder that I'm using. You could use a different powder. I'm going to put 1.5 teaspoons. You could use more or less, and in fact, if you're not a matcha fan, you could just leave this out and make this blueberry, and that works just fine. Okay, now we've got the Joy oat milk powder. Usually you put about, let's see, it says 2 tablespoons for every 1 cup. We're going to use 2 to 3 tablespoons. It's super finely ground, which is nice. But you do need to use a blender with it. So if I was just using already made milk, so I'm going to put about 2.5 so that it'll be a little more like oat cream, a little bit richer. If I wasn't using dates, because dates need to be blended, if I was using date paste or date syrup, and this, I could whisk all these things together, then whisk in the sweetener and then put in the blueberries. You could also, you can put the blueberries whole as long as they're submerged in this liquid, or we could go ahead and blend them up too. So this is the Ninja smoothie bowl, and it has a little thing that twists it around. So we're just going to turn this on. And blend until the dates are smooth. Okay, so the dates are pretty smooth. I may need some more liquid, and that's okay. So I'm going to take my Ninja Creami Pint, because remember, we have to use this. If you don't have a Ninja Creami, you can totally freeze this mixture in ice cube trays, let it thaw a little bit, and then put it in your Vitamix or other powerful blender or your Ninja blender. Okay. So here's how I'm going to do this. I'm going to go ahead and put about, it's a heaping cup of blueberries. And then you've heard me talk about this before, so we can put them in like this, but we want to make sure that they're covered. And I want you to kind of see that really well. See how that's going to freeze until a frozen block. There's some fluff on there from the blending. So the fluff is going a little over the max fill line, but it will come back down. I'm going to put a lid on it. I am going to label it and then put it in the freezer. I have one that I'm going to pull out and spin for you right now so you get to see the whole process. So I've gotten this out of the freezer, and let's take a look. I have perhaps been in here before, but that's okay. I want you to kind of see it's pretty much level, but I'm going to go ahead and take a spoon and scrape this a little bit. I wouldn't normally, but I just want you to see how it works. Also, with this little bit here, it's an opportunity to taste it. So let's taste a little bit. Is it sweet enough? Does it need extra sweetener? We may, in the next step, have to add either a little bit of non-dairy milk if it's powdery, but we also have the opportunity to put in some liquid sweetener. We could put in some more date paste, some maple syrup, something like that. And I'm just going to go ahead and level this off. Okay, so we're going to take this, and remember there's little things down here that need to match in here, so I just put it in here and I twist it. And if I can't twist it, I know it's right. If I do twist it and it's not in, it pops in. We're going to take the blade, so there's this latch. We're going to open it up so these open, drop this in. It's okay that it wiggles some. Then I'm going to put it on here and put it to a click. Next, we're going to put this in perpendicular. So this goes this way, the machine is this way, right? As I move it up, there's a little platform that comes up with it, and I'll snap into place. Now I will turn on the power, and I could use either the smoothie bowl or the light ice cream. I'm going to go ahead and just use the light ice cream. So the sorbet button, the smoothie bowl button, and the light ice cream, the blade moves around fast, but the rod lowers down a little bit slower. So what that's saying is it's expecting a harder mixture. All of our whole food plant-based mixtures are going to be like that because they're low sugar, low fat. And that's going to help the machine. So like if we just did regular ice cream, the blade doesn't go as fast and it goes down quicker. So that for us should almost always be avoided unless you're using avocado. Maybe you're making one of the coconut milk ones or something like that that's going to have more fat, or you're using vegan sugar. So that just a note on how that works. Okay, so I'm going to let it spin. And you can notice up here, this will tell us where in here the blade is. So I'm going to hold down this button here, that releases this, and it's going to come down. If it doesn't come down, just wait a minute or so. It could be frozen a little bit to the top, and that's okay. And then it's just going to lift right out. I'm going to click this lid unlock, and it looks pretty good. So what I always do, it doesn't look very powdery. Okay, see, and if I move this a little bit, if it's a little bit powdery, but I think this is pretty good. If this was thicker than what I wanted, if I wanted it to be a little more, I don't know, not as firm. It's really nice and smooth. If I want it to be a little looser, I could go ahead and put in some non-dairy milk, or if it wasn't quite sweet enough, I could put in a little more sweetener. This is pretty good. This is about to be my breakfast on the day that I'm filming this. If you aren't a matcha fan, maybe start with 1 teaspoon and not 1.5 teaspoons. It is strong on the matcha, but I feel like I need that caffeine boost. If you don't like matcha, just make blueberry. We could also, it's blueberry ice cream. Can't go wrong with that. You could also make this more of a smoothie bowl, and maybe we could put a couple of dates, a really ripe banana in there to sweeten it. I still think it could use a little extra sweetener, so if I had put a banana in there, that would be really good. I could have put oats and water instead of the Joy, and that would make a really nice breakfast smoothie bowl, and you could decorate it with whatever fruit or bananas that you had handy. So hopefully that helps. And again, if this is firmer than what you want, just put the respin on. Some people would respin this, and that's fine. You should make this the texture that you like the best. I love doing creamy creations with like lots of fresh or frozen fruit, a little bit of plant milk, and then you could, like I said, sweetener of choice to taste. I have sweetened some things with just ripe bananas, with canned pears, with applesauce. So those are all other ways that you can do this. So I hope this gives you some inspiration to start making your own, and please let me know what you guys make, and be sure to go over to Vegan Recipes Cooking with Kathy Hester on Facebook and drop your photos because I really want to see them. Okay, have an amazing week.